Hopefully, you can hear me as I'm adjusting things. I I'm just gonna go ahead and just preface this. You see me, I'm in a muumuu, no makeup on. It is a Saturday morning. I slept in. I woke up at 7. Um, to me, that's sleeping in, and I kind of wanted to talk about regulating your hormones. And this is for everybody, regulating your hormones with sleep and nutrition. Um, the reason why I'm coming on with this particular topic is because I think a lot of people underestimate how powerful all of our hormones are. And you know, it's so funny. Okay, so right now, next door, uh, there is construction being done. I live in a small kind of home, brick home, and next door, it looks like they're about to put up a McMansion. And yeah, I have feelings about all that. But I've lived in this house for about 20 years. I'm renovating myself, a lot of the work I'm doing myself. And it looks like next door, over the years, I've seen, many people come and go out of the house that used to be the house until they knocked it down. And I think they honestly did try to salvage the house, and I think there was something going on with the plumbing to where they had to they tried, something with the roof. Next thing I know, I see they're doing things with the like foundation and the plumbing. So it seemed to me like they kind of had no choice at this point. So they're starting over, and they're not brick, and that's kind of the thing that's making me sad. But at the same time, progress is progress. But as you can see, I've painted the wall so far. I still need to get some finishing details done. I'm gonna put a plastic tarp over the door. I have taken off for now. I don't know how I want to do the door. So I have a small bathroom. It's like a 5 by 7, but I like to make it. I want to make it spa-like. I'm finally gonna get the bathroom of my dreams, and I'll talk about that and probably in another video, a different one. How I believe there are spiritual rooms, and your bathroom is one of them. Okay. All right. Now, hormones. They are important. As I get ready, let me get my stuff together over here. So I'm going to put on some castor oil for my face. I don't remember doing it last night, so I'm going to do it now. And I'm also going to just clean my face um, as well as I talk. All right, so hormones, we all have them. Most times it's the women that get blamed for having hormones, but men have hormones, all the things, serotonin, dopamine, cortisol, endorphins, oxytocin. They have them as well. And then I'm sure there's a bunch of others that I'm not listing off, but as for the more common ones, we all have them, right? Um, Even as of yesterday, when I was teaching my class, my students, about dopamine and how it's not it can be used for your benefit, but then it also can be harmful if you have if you filled your cup too much with dopamine. And that's the best way I could describe it to my folks. So and I related that to the idea of um, screen time, and how too much screen time can affect you, and it messes with your circadian rhythm, your sleep patterns, um, and how your mind functions. I think a lot of people don't understand what all entails in your mind, in your brain, in your mind. So yes, your brain is the physical thing, but then your mind is kind of like the radio control knob thing of it all. Yeah. So yeah. So as I am making sure, I want to put in allergy medicine in my eyes, but I'll have to wait until after. Um, but yeah, so I'm just making sure I'm using the camera as a mirror as well. So if you see me looking crazy, it's like, that's why. And yeah, so I was telling them about dopamine yesterday, and they seem to understand. And dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, cortisol, especially in what I'm about to talk about, a lot of people underestimate what your hormones do to you. So with serotonin and dopamine, those can, if they're not balanced, that causes your food cravings that a lot of people tend to have. Um, if you if you're feeling anxious, your body thinks it's in fight or flight mode, basically. So when you are not giving yourself nutrients. Sorry, my camera. I'm like still trying to work on camera setups in the bathroom. I might have to put my glasses back on so I can fix this really quick. So yeah, so nutrients make you feel calm. Or not, I don't want to say make you, but it gives your body that sense of calm versus I don't feel nourished in my body. I don't feel okay in my body. Sorry, I'm just checking my phone. Yeah. So when you don't nourish yourself properly, and it's not just food, but it can be food. When you don't nourish yourself properly, then of course you're going to feel stressed and anxious. And yeah, and it leads to, food cravings, amongst other things, lack of sleep, something else, right? And this is what I try to tell parents too, to make sure your child is getting sleep. I know that, I'm a teacher. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a teacher, and I've seen pretty much a few thousand kids over my time. And I just, we hear the advice from doctors, but then it's the teachers that see it in the field. Okay. So by the time, a parent takes their kid to the pediatrician or whatever, they're coming to us, the pediatricians, the doctors, for surveys, for looking for so what is the child like during the day? Because we see them the most. Okay. We see them. And they are anxious, they're restless, they're definitely food sensitive. So we see a lot of that in the classroom. No focus, quick to anger, all of those things. It's because they're not nourished. And yeah, so food can be that, sleep can also be that. And I think we're all going through that sleep famine. It's a sleep famine, okay? It's too much going on in the world where people are not making their sleep a priority, that they need to make it a priority, okay? And yes, sleep helps your brain. It's so funny. All this stuff that I am saying, my mother had been saying to me for 15 years when I was, doing my, when I was in my, the rise and grind part of my life, because I had to, because, I had like 2, 3, 4 jobs, had no choice. So, but when it comes to sleep, it replenishes your system, recharges your body. You need that sleep. Even at a certain time of night, I'll just say this, even there is a reset that you're in your body that happens where you are, registering the things of the day. I usually try to do that before I go to sleep, but most people end up doing it while they're trying to go to sleep, and they're just ruminating and stressing themselves out. But when it comes to sleep, sleep is the nourishment also. Just like food is nourishment, sleep is nourishment. And dare I say the M word, menopause. a lot of women who go through menopause, of course, they report having night sweats, hot flashes, restlessness, all of that. They're not getting the sleep they need because their internal body is, their temperature is rising. Obviously, that's waking them up, right? Um, so I don't know. I don't know if I have solutions for that, or if I'm just going to be looking for solutions. I'm going to tell you now. I When I started my biohacking journey, was I considering menopause in it? A little bit, because early on I started experimenting with certain supplements like Vitex and DIM, because I hear that our society, in our food and culture, we've got a lot of estrogens in our environment, and too much estrogen is bad. But if you're going through perimenopause, which technically that is what it is, perimenopause, not menopause, you are experiencing fluctuations between hormones of estrogen and progesterone. And just like when you're on your period or going through your menstrual cycle, you're having cravings, right? And you're having like times of you can't sleep, or times of crankiness. It is again that fluctuation of those two hormones. But now, as your estrogen is dropping, and testosterone is showing up more. I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on the raising of testosterone. What I think is happening is because the estrogen is dropping, your testosterone in our bodies is just being more prominent. Okay, I don't know for sure, but I can look it up. So yes, we get more angst, we get more cranky. Um, we're not sleeping, you know. So maybe I'll do some research around that. So let me know in the comments if that's something you definitely want me looking into, because I feel like the more we all start talking about hormones for everybody, the better off we'll all be, and not just assigning hormones to just women, because I work with kids. They got hormones even before they go to puberty. Men have hormones, okay? And that's how we express our feelings, really. And that leads to the other thing. So as I'm doing research, in general in my classroom, and teaching and learning, and how best to help, certain students, um, I do have students who are on the spectrum, but I'm going to tell you this. I feel like we're all on the spectrum in some way. We're all on the spectrum. So as I pick up my makeups here, I probably will just run some errands today. I don't wear a lot of makeup, but I'm just putting this on just for the sake of, I might come back today and do some more filming of other things. I have a cover up here. I'm not, I mean, I wear makeup, y'all, but I'm not like, I'm sure somebody will say, well, what are you putting on? Like, this is just some generic concealer that I put underneath my eyes. Now, I've learned how to control what I'm calling my allergy eyes, because I've had um, these fat deposits my whole life underneath my eyes. I have learned uh, mineral wise what can help it, and I will let you know it's potassium. um, but yeah, when it comes to trying to, just look your best, be your best, yeah, you want that. And I think I mentioned this in a video earlier this week about dressing a certain way, just for your comfort and for your well-being, right? I think a lot of people complain about, oh, it takes too long to put on. It's like, well, I mean, if you keep yourself up to a certain standard of uh, looking goodness, like, I'm just trying to find the best word for that, then you won't have to work so hard. Or maybe realistically, you got to think about what you actually look like, instead of trying to look like, I don't know, somebody on TV, on the whatever. All I'm doing is covering up the bags. That's all. It's like I do have, I have scars, acne scars from when I was young. Um, doing better with that. And a castor oil, for which I just put on, that actually really helps a lot. I have done oil therapy for my skin, and I'm going to put that in my book. And yes, I am writing a book. So I've done different things to help me feel my best. And it's not about trying to beat the clock or beat aging either. When I was younger, I was around a lot of older people, some who were doing great physically, some who were always complaining about their aches and pains. I was like, I don't want to be that person that's always complaining about your aches and pains. It's like there's the Jack LaLannes out there, they're out there, you know? And I hope to be one of them. Even at 48, I still think I'm young. I'm young, y'all. Okay? In this grand scheme of things, you should see my mother and my aunt. It's like they're full of energy, so much energy. But yeah, but when it comes to back to the hormones and back to the sleep, if we don't regulate ourselves, and that's what teachers call it, it's like being regulated, knowing you can be in control of yourself, basically, because you're not hungry, you're not sleepy, you're not, distraught or whatever like that. So that's what we mean when we say regulated or self-regulation, is that you have everything that your body needs to thrive, basically. And a lot of people don't have that in their everyday life. A lot of people are not getting the sleep they need. A lot of people are not eating for nourishment like they need to. And that's unfortunate. So I think a lot of people eat to fill themselves up because our U.S. society has taught us to stop the hunger. Notice, there's campaigns out there say stop hunger. And there's campaigns about like, oh, yeah, of course we want to stop hunger, but what about nourishing ourselves? Are we nourishing ourselves? So you're just filling up somebody's stomach full of something that's, there was a time where food companies were putting sawdust in food, and that was filling you up. It was filling you up, right? But it wasn't nourishing you. So always be mindful about that kind of thing. So is this food just filling me up? Is it just for my tongue, my taste buds, or is it for my whole system? Like, is this really going to be helpful for my whole entire system? Or is this just going to keep my stomach from growling? And sadly, a lot of people just eat food to keep their stomach from growling, and they don't think about what happens afterward. What happens to your stomach, your blood, your bones, your muscles, your tissues inside of your body. When people eat things, they're like thinking about, well, I just want my skin to look nice, or I just want my hair to be long. It's like those are byproducts of good nutrition. Okay? Those are byproducts of good nutrition. So you can't sit and eat like a bag of chips one day and just expect that your hair is going to be long. That's not always how it works. Okay? And then people say, well, children have low. Yeah, because we haven't damaged their systems that badly. So by the time you're an adult, you pretty much wrecked your system if you haven't taken care of it. So when it comes to the hormones, get your rest. Well, I know we say that. Nourish yourself, not just fill up your stomach to stop the hunger. Have a healthy outlook, or try to find healthy ways to express yourself, to exercise those emotions. That's another thing. That is exactly where I wanted to lead into, because I do have, like I said, students, one who is, on the spectrum, and then one who we suspect. And as I was looking through, looking at my observational notes this week and researching, because I care about my students, even though it's the end of the school year, I know I'll see them next year, and I know that next year's teachers are going to be asking me about this student, okay? And I have to teach my parapro how best to deal with certain students, because I don't think it was fair, and I have told her this, it's not fair to give a child a consequence if they don't have the tools to actually do what we are expecting them to do. Okay, for example, the one child that we do know who is on that spectrum, he has a hard time with his facial expressions. Like he can logically understand something is sad, but he might have a neutral tone, or he might be like smiling because it's like, I don't know what to do, so he's working on it. He's 8 years old. He's 8, you know? And so that's something that I have to teach, like I said, my parapro about, and the other kids, because when, say, if something happens in the classroom and he's like, oh, something fell and it hit somebody and they're just like, oh, I'm crying. And then he's smiling. It's not because he's thinking it's bad, happy, and that's how they think it is, but it's not. So yeah, so I brought my phone in here because I just recently, as I'm suspecting of another student might be on the spectrum, we feel like this child may even just have ADHD, but there is overlap in a lot of these things, which again, I feel like we all need to be paying more attention to hormones and how our emotions play a part, because I wonder how, if our facial expressions show our feelings and our feelings are based on our hormones, if our hormones are not behaving well on somebody who is perhaps on the spectrum, they may not understand how to contort their body in a way that matches the feeling inside. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. All right, so when it comes to the foundation, there's some people, I've used this foundation since I was 19, and it's only because, well, I mean, not only I've used it because, back in my day, there weren't a lot of shades for brown ladies, and when you find that shade, you better stick with it, and you better not get in the sun, that kind of thing. But I've tried to experiment with other makeups or whatever. But also the other feature of this is because I mentioned just now that I had acne. I had bad acne growing up. And I started going into theater, musical theater and stuff like that. So I needed a good makeup that was going to have full coverage. I also have, a tat or two. And so I needed something to cover. And this particular brand covers. It does well. It's never broken me out. That gives me full coverage, all that great stuff. So yes, I've been using it since the 90s. And yeah. And do I want to tell you? It's Dermablend. It's Dermablend. So yeah, I've been using it since the 90s. And I use it because it has great coverage. It does not run. It does not cake. It does all the good stuff. Full coverage, all that. Okay. And I don't even have to use it a lot, quite honestly. So I'm using it with my sponge. I used to do it with my fingers, but lately I'm into sponging. So sponge, just for the, base of the base. So it doesn't take a lot. All right. And so if I want to do my eyes, and that's about it. That's my makeup, y'all. Yeah, I'll do my eyes. I'm trying to decide, what am I wearing today? What color? Well, we'll just go with earth tones. And then I just get any old kind of like eyeshadow from the drugstore. I really don't care, you know. And I do also am mindful about that too, because whatever you put in your body and on your body matters. So I tend to, Dermablend, I haven't heard any horrible things about it. I mean, I know potentially everything can, cause bad things to happen to your body, but I try to be mindful about the makeup thing. I don't put hair product in my hair. The same castor oil that I just put on my face, I'll be probably putting in my hair, or neem oil, or shea butter, and that is it. Like, I don't have a name brand. I go to the African shops and get the stuff, go to the health food stores and get the stuff, and that is it. Like, I don't support a brand because, I mean, I could, but I also look at the ingredients on the inside. It's like, if there's alcohol in it, I will be like, I don't know, because the alcohol is the drying feature of your products, and that includes your foods too, or preservatives, not alcohol, but preservatives. So an alcohol is a preservative, sorry. So yes, I'm just being super random. I'm not being particular. Because again, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just trying to make sure I look healthy during the day and not look tired, even though I'm congested. And that's again back to the nourishing yourself and learning about, for me, allergies and histamines more. And menopause. Because I guess in the last couple of months, I've started to have the hot flashes. I'm cold natured though. That's what's so bizarre. It's like one minute I'm cold, I'm freezing, and then the next minute it's like I'm hot. I don't like this. This is not fun, you know? So it's because I know what's happening internally, and I know what can help, I won't say soothe, but lessen those effects. And I keep telling people before I end this, I'm going to go ahead and end this now. You got to cut the sugar. That's for children, that's for men, that's for women. You got to cut the sugar because sugar is a fuel source that serves you no purpose, and it feeds cancer. Okay, you don't want that. It's a fuel source that if you were in immediate need of something, energy, then yeah, it gives you that. Like there's no, I don't want to say, I don't want to feed into the stereotype of sugar makes you hyper. Um, yes and no. Sugar and carbohydrates is an energy source. It's like a flash burn. Yeah, so it's like tissue on fire versus an oil lamp. You want the oil lamp as your fuel source, right? It lasts longer, takes less of it, right? So think of it that way. Let go of the sugar, y'all. Okay, let it go. Cut back on it. At the very least, look at your containers or whatever it is you're eating, and learn what the other names of the other sugars are. So sugar won't just be sugar. It won't just say sugar. It'll have an OSE ending on it, and then you'll know it's a sugar. Okay. All right, and with that, let me change my clothes and go run some errands, get out of this little bathroom. But yeah, and take care. Bye.